Selena the series is a two-part series. I didn't know that. May 14th, 2021, we should expect part 2 of Selena, where it actually gets a bit dramatic with Chris and the family, and it all goes down in season 2, and I am so stoked. Season 1, in my opinion, was perfection. I didn't go in with any expectation whatsoever. That's probably best, because I know that a lot of fans are really disappointed in that it doesn't really focus so much on Selena the artist, but rather the story of how Selena and her family rose to fame, because really it was a team effort, and for that I loved it, especially getting to know the family. Yes, Abraham, I really enjoyed seeing how he really took charge and made things happen for his family, because he was the breadwinner. I loved the band, I love the sister, I love AB, I love it all. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hi everyone. Today we are going to be talking about my thoughts on the series. I finally finished part 1 after a month and a half of watching over and over again the same episodes in the series, because I love beginnings in most stories. The middle is probably the hardest to get through because that's where all the hardship lies, but the beginning is just the best, when everybody sees a lot of things through rose-colored glasses, or at least with hope and just pure and utter joy for doing the thing that they wanted to. You know, I don't know, I'm talking from an artist's point of view. As an artist, I also created these heart-shaped earrings inspired by Selena's own heart-shaped earrings. I think they came out pretty similar, but definitely they are my own. I love them, and they will actually be a part of a giveaway. Hi everyone, I'm Jessica Gibson with Kaleidoscopes and Polka Dots, where I sell handmade, vintage-inspired jewelry for the soul who's in love with the past, wholeheartedly lives in the present, and embraces the future. If you enjoy videos relating to vintage fashion, jewelry, and books, then please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you never miss a video. And also, sign up to my newsletter so that you will always be the first to know when I publish. First, let's talk about the earrings, because I'm in love. These heart-shaped earrings are actually my second go. I initially started off with making my own heart-shaped paper beads, and the struggle was real. I started off strong, at least I thought. I started off with little tiny heart-shaped things, and then it evolved into something a little bit bigger because I wanted more of a statement piece. Now those statement earrings will be featured in next week's episode, because I spent a lot of time on them and they needed extra time to settle down, and I think they'll just be perfect for next week. These were actually an afterthought, because as I was struggling and making my paper beads, I was like, there's gotta be an easier way. I've got to have something in my collection that could work. Somewhere inside my brain, I thought, yes, I have buttons. I purchased these buttons many years ago to put away in a jar, and I have been hoarding them ever since. up cutting off the button piece. I don't know what they're called, like the C part that makes it a button. I cut that off. I glued it on to some Lacey's Stiff Stuff, and I embroidered the heart shape at least with some crystal bicones, black crystal bicones, Swarovski crystals, and I did the edges with some seed beads. They are 11-0 silver lined seed beads. Now for the top, I just wanted to keep it simple, and I did these basically. After I finished the circles for the heart-shaped earrings, I was like, I need some of my own. These are dark glass beads embroidered onto some lacy stiff stuff. To provide it the backing with a little bit more sturdiness, I added a little bit of cardboard, as I often do, because cardboard is just my favorite as far as using it for this kind of project. I then glued on the post, the earring post, and added some faux suede. Faux suede is also a part of the bottom part of the earring, the heart-shaped part. And I ended the embroidery project with some, again, Swarovski crystal bicones and stainless steel hardware. I think the end result is absolutely stunning and very reminiscent of the 80s, as well as these, much more low-key 80s, but 80s nonetheless. I love them. Next, let's talk about the series. So last week, when I was doing a little bit of research on Selena, the Netflix series, I stumbled upon a few headlines of, oh, Selena fans are disappointed in the series. I am so sorry if that describes you. I think my saving grace is that I didn't go in with any expectations whatsoever. I just wanted to hear her songs again and see her story come alive again through multiple parts, because the movie was beautiful. I love it. Jennifer Lopez was amazing in it. I am so happy to have that in my collection somewhere on VHS. So I'm elated. I'm ecstatic. How many different superlatives can I use to describe how much I have enjoyed this series, because I have things that I absolutely adore about the series. Other than the cast, the crew, everybody. The costumes. Adela Cortazar is the costume designer. Adela Cortazar, you did an amazing job. You knocked it out of the park. I feel like I am back in the 80s and 90s, reliving those moments where I fell in love with fashion. I was too little to embrace those fashions, but I was very much into seeing how my aunts would dress up and be a part of the scene. I was born in the 80s, and I always thought that I would have made the best teenager for the 80s, because I loved the hair, I loved the fashion. Not so much these days. I don't know what happened, but I feel like it's much too much for me these days. But when I was a teen, definitely loved the aesthetic of Madonna in the 80s, and all of the pearls and all of the hair and all of the makeup. It was just, it was dreamy for my little heart. And that's how I felt watching the series. I loved Selena's constant change in hairdo, and her DIYing skills were impeccable. I loved it. I got so many ideas just watching the series. Thank you for putting together such beautiful costume design. Now, something else that also caught my attention was the beautiful writing. So Moises Zamora is the screenplay writer, and he was backed up by a group of writers that did a wonderful job. I have a number of favorite quotes. The first one is one that's between Selena and Chris when they're still getting to know each other. They're in the bus and they're talking about music, and it was Selena. Selena says, I guess everybody has a side B. Okay, and I'm paraphrasing. And he says, nobody's just one thing. Oh. And that's in relation to a tape. I just thought that was so sweet. And that scene, it was just love. Another quote that I really loved so much was one where AB approaches, I think his name is Matamoros. And he's like, everybody in that room got turned down over and over and over again, including you. And now I am here where you were once before. Something to that effect. I thought, oh, yes. I mean, there are so many moments. Abraham gets a lot of really great quotes. And I think those are genuinely his quotes. I'm also reading To Selena with Love by Chris Perez, Selena's husband, and in it, he also quotes Abraham a few times, or at least he has so far. I'm like halfway through. And it sounds just like Abraham in the series. Let's gush about the cast. Christian Serratos. I love her so much as Selena. She looks the part, she acts the part, she is vivacious and just enigmatic. I thought she did such a wonderful job. I can't help but love her and want her to succeed. She won me over. I'm all in. I'm all in on Christian Serratos' team. The other character that I just genuinely can't get enough of is Ricky. Ricky reminds me so much of my husband. Okay, and this is Ricky back in the 90s when there wasn't Google. I love how random he is about regurgitating facts that he looks up and stuff. I would love to be a wallflower when he is trying to come up with something new and innovative, because I can just see myself laughing all day long. He just seems like such a fun character. And AB, my heart goes out to AB, because that sort of pressure of constantly coming up with songs, I didn't know this. I genuinely had no idea that AB was responsible for so many of Selena's greatest hits. His songwriting is amazing. I mean, clearly he has a lot of help from the band, and that is just lovely to see in film. I watched an interview with Suzette where she talks about how they met with the writers, and they talked about how AB was feeling at the time back in the day, because he had the pressure of coming up with something new constantly over and over again. And can you imagine constantly being asked to one-up yourself over and over again? I mean, that's what we're all trying to do in life, right? But to have it from an external source, somebody else telling you, hey, any fool can get a #1 hit. So go out and do it again and again and again. My heart broke for him with how stressed he constantly felt. I don't think he's married anymore to the same woman that he was with back in the day when they were just starting. But she seemed like such a great support system for him because she just seemed to be like, hey, you got this. I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let me know what some of your favorite parts of the series were if you've watched the series, and what some of your favorite costumes were, because there are so many. What is your favorite Selena? Is it Selena with long straight hair, or is it the curly hair? Because I am really digging that short curly hair, but I'm not going to try it. Next week, I will be talking about To Selena with Love. I am so excited. I'm really, really enjoying this book. It's not what I was expecting. I kind of expected more of a novel, if I'm honest. But it genuinely sounds like Chris wrote it. No ghostwriting involved. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my newsletter and to this channel if you haven't already. And I will talk to you again very soon. Bye. By the way, I just want to say I'm sorry. I know I use certain words a lot, and I'm trying really hard to step away from my go-tos. They're crutches. I'm sorry. Like is one of them. Don't make this a drinking game, please, for your safety and my own.